Well, hello to all of my friends, and welcome to the new series that I've started on this podcast. I'm so excited to share this new series topic with you guys. It is going to be crazy fun, yet it's a story of my life. I've been battling some health issues for 2 years, and here I am to tell the stories. Hopefully I can help others who may be going through the same thing and create like a safe space for us to share our stories, because it's become more common since I got it. I'm seeing it on my For You page, which is very strange. Well, anyway, you are listening to Sloan Talks. This is going to be season 1, episode 1. The series is going to be called Waves. The title of episode 1, what you're listening to now, is going to be called Not Merry, Go Round. Okay, you guys, here is the story. Here is the lovely story. On April 8th, 2023, the day started like any other day. I had to take my kids to school in the morning, and I dropped them off, and then I came home to get work done, because at the time I was working from home. Many of you know that I have a reselling kind of thing that I still do, but that's what I was doing at the time, was reselling, and I would do posting on my Poshmark and my eBay, and gathering thrifted items and reselling them. Me and Mr. Sloan, that was our hustle at the time, among many things, but that was one of them. So I was coming home to work on that. Like the at-home thing would be like, measuring items, organizing the bins of the inventory and things like that, and taking pictures for Poshmark to upload. And so on that day, I remember dropping the kids off and coming home and getting some work done. And then it was time to do pickup. And so I did pickup probably around 3:30. I did pickup of the kids. And then I remember like coming home and being like, oh man, like, I think I have one more either pickup or drop off to do. So, I think I would have said that I ate pretty normal that day. I wasn't like, sometimes you're so busy. You're like, did I even eat? Did I eat? You kind of get that like feeling of like, do I need water or food? Do I need protein? Am I going to make it through the day? But I was fine. Like I pretty much, I eat, like oatmeal or something in the morning, and then, probably like working and eating oatmeal or something. So I did eat, and then, probably lunch was light probably. But then for dinner, since I had to go get another kid, like for pickup, I was like, you know what, we'll just get pizza. 'Cause it's like it was giving a pizza kind of night. You know what I mean? So Mr. Sloan's like, oh yeah, we'll just go together. I was like, okay, fine. So we get in the car, and then we do our pickup of the last kid that needed to pick up. I can't remember if it was maybe like a soccer practice or something, because we were on the other side of town, and it was like a pizza place. I was like, you know what? Get the kid, get the pizza, call it a night. I'm going to be chillaxing. You know what I mean? Like I need a mom night, which means don't ask me what we're going to eat, because we have pizza. Mm-hmm. So we pick up the kid, we get the pizza, and we're in the car. And then like from the pizza place to my house is like 4 to 6 minutes. I mean, it wasn't like we were driving for 45 minutes. It was like 4 to 6 minutes, not 46. It was a 4 to 6 minute drive from like the pizza place to my house. So my husband is driving. I'm in the passenger seat. I don't know math and I don't know mileage, but I would say we were 3 miles for home, or something, 3 miles or something, 15 kilometers. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means. I think we're 3 miles from home. Okay. We're sitting at the stoplight, and I have the pizza boxes sitting on my lap. I can feel like the warmth of the pizza boxes. I had on it was April. I had on like a sweater, and I had on a jacket, and I remember I had on my wig. And the pizza boxes, while we're at the stoplight, I could feel like the warmth of the pizza boxes. And I was like, oh, these pizza boxes are kind of warm. let me shift them a little bit. So I start to like shift the pizza boxes. And then I was like, well, it's still kind of warm. So I was like, let me just roll down the window because it's probably getting kind of muggy. Like the seasons are changing here in Cali. Like we don't really have seasons. It's just like all warm. But what we do have is when you come out of winter, we have like a change in like our temperature. So April, early April-ish, is giving warmer, right? So April 8th, it was giving warm. Okay. So I ended up rolling down the window. Like, let me just get some air in here. You know, it's just probably just muggy and hot, and the kids are in the back, and like, it's just, they're probably yelling or something and fighting and probably annoying me. So I'm just getting hot and over like heated. So I look up at the intersection and like the cars are like driving by. And then all of a sudden, you guys, my vision is looking at the horizon and I could see the trees collapse. So on both sides of the road, the right and the left side, the trees start to fold into it themselves. And then the stoplight starts to sway. The stoplight is going like left, right, left, right. And then the ground, it looks like it's becoming water or waves. They're like, kind of like when you look at a horizon and it looks like it's water, but it's not. So it's like, what is it called? Like a mirage of water, but it was up close. So it wasn't like far away, not the horizon. It was like literally like you could see my hood, and then like the crosswalk was like water waves. I immediately thought I was having a panic attack. I did. So I remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm so hot that my vision is making me feel like I'm going to pass out. Because why would the trees collapse? Why would it look like there's an earthquake happening when everybody in the car is just normal? The music is on. The kids are like, whatever, and I'm holding a pizza. Like, no one's reacting like, oh my gosh, this is an emergency. So I was like, wait a minute, it must be me. Like, I'm the one having an emergency. So my heart starts beating super fast. I'm definitely having heart palpitations. My palms start to get sweaty. I wanted to take those pizzas, you guys, and I want to throw them out of the window. I was like, these pizzas. So I think I'm hot. I'm unbuckling my seatbelt. Okay. I take off my jacket. I still feel sick. And I was like, no. I literally, you guys, rip off my wig. Okay. Because I'm literally undressing at this point. I'm taking off my wig. And I get no like relief. And I was like, what is happening? And so the light changes. My husband takes off and he's driving. And like, it looks like the sides of the streets are moving faster than our car. So the car is moving, but the sides, my peripheral, it's like a speed racer on the sides. So I turned my head to look like, what the heck is that? And I turned back and now my body is spinning in the car. So it's like now I physically am spinning. It's not just the vision that like collapsed and the tree and why would, it look like there's an earthquake outside of the car when really it's not. We're sitting at a stoplight. Now my body is spinning and we are at this point probably about a mile from home. I literally I almost wanted to open up the car door. Like I thought the sensation was me needing to get out of the hot car with the pizzas on my body. And like literally just thinking about this, I think the smell of, how pizza's on a cardboard and like the smell of the cardboard, it kind of like triggers me to going back to that day that I had that feeling. So I go home and I'm like, okay, whatever that happened in the car, that was scary. So I get home and I was like, yeah, I don't know what that was. And I was like, well, let me look and see, like, was I overheated? Was I hot? Like, what is going on? Am I sick? I take my temperature. I have no fever. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what that was. And then I was like, well, maybe it's like my allergy medicine. I'm like on Flonase, because it's April. And so it's like allergies. Maybe it's like Flonase, it's like a side effect from it. So I'm literally like rapid MD Googling myself. What are these symptoms? What is going on? I remember telling just one day, like, I got really sick in the car. Like, it wasn't even car sickness. It was literally like I could not see. My vision had collapsed. And that's the only way I could describe it as. It's like a vision that collapsed. I remember at one point, I felt like water on my right side of my head was tingling and traveling up to the other side of my head. So it's like from my right ear, tingle, tingle to my left ear, and then stopped. That's when I got super nauseous and I was like, oh no, I don't know what this is, but this is terrifying. So that was my first experience of feeling that way. I think I had assumed it was a panic attack. You guys, just to talk a little bit about my, I guess like mental health and like mental health of my mom. And I do think these things are related. So my mom had suffered from panic attacks since I was little. One of the things that happened to her, she was in the local newspaper. Of course she was. You're making up stuff. So my mom was in the local newspaper because she collapsed at the train station. And the reason why she collapsed is because she was like overheated and overwhelmed because it was like underground. And I remember my grandparents telling me like, oh, your mom, she wasn't really feeling well. And she like passed out. I guess that's what they said it was. Like she just passed out. And then sure enough, she was diagnosed with having panic attacks. So my mom used to keep a little bag of like a little paper bag inside of her wallet. And that's what we called her, quote, emergency bag. And that would be anytime she felt like she was going to have a panic attack or pass out, she would breathe inside of that bag. So she would inhale. She would do that inside of the bag. And this has been since I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, that's pretty sad. I think I was probably like 7 years old. So I think that's like people say that's the first memory of a child is when you're 7. So as early I can remember, I was about 7 years old until college. Probably my mom would have her, quote, emergency panic attack bag in her wallet. Like that's how severe my mom's mental health issues were. And I wholeheartedly believe that some of those panic feelings were passed on to me from her. There was things that I had to change around my house when I lived with my mom to make sure I didn't scare her or startle her, right? So, for example, when I walk into a room when I was little, I used to have to say, coming in here. I would have to announce my presence to my mom because any small thing would startle her into having a panic attack. So, of course, she's like, like this little fragile person that I honestly felt like I had to take care of. Like, that's just how I grew up, is making sure my mom did not have a panic attack. There was even times where my mom would not go outside for like weeks. When I say not go outside, you guys, I mean like she would lock herself in her room and she could not open the front door. And I remember being little and she was like, oh my goodness, look, I can see outside. And I was like, oh, that's great. And then she's like, well, let me see if I can open the front door. And I remember her opening the door and she goes, look, I did it. And I remember looking at her like, is this really a condition? Like, is this going to happen to me? Like, why can't my mom open the front door? I was way too young to understand how she was excited to open the front door. And then I realized I was like, wow, she was really having super bad anxiety and depression when I was little. And I had no idea. Like, that's like really bad to be like, I opened the door and that's like something to celebrate. I think she was really, really undiagnosed for a long time. So when I had my experience at the stoplight in April, it was basically deemed by healthcare providers as a panic attack. But was it? What did you guys think? Does that sound like one to you? I think this series, you guys, is going to be really deep. I just want to give you guys a warning about that. This series will not be as light as Nailgate, but you know what? I think switching it up is going to be fun. You're listening to season 1, episode 1 of a series called Waves. Don't forget, you guys, I will be uploading new episodes. So the next episode will go into more detail about what has happened. This has been 2 years, you guys, of me battling this. There's a lot of things that have come out of this. I think episode 1 should literally be day 1. What do they call that? Day what? You know what I'm saying? Day dot. Is that sports? You know how when something happens, is it D-Day? D1, when they mark off the exact time that something starts to take place, or like patient 0 or whatever, patient A, like this is the beginning of the story. The stoplight sitting there, right? The waves on the ground and the collapsing of my vision and the tickling, watery feeling that moved over my scalp. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what I have to say about episode 1. So stay tuned, you guys, for episode 2. I will be uploading every single Saturday. Don't forget to watch me on you're either listening to me here on Spotify or you're going to be listening to me on YouTube. But my podcast is Sloan Talks. So with all that being said, you guys, thank you for listening to episode 1. And you're listening to Sloan Talks.